we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right.
Hello there. We may still be in January, but that doesn't mean there's not plenty to be done in the garden. And so today I am going to be sowing more seeds. I'm going to be transplanting the onions that I sowed on Boxing Day that need now to be moved on to their next growing containers. And I'm going to be tidying up some parts of the garden to try and get ahead of the game so that I can get these things done before spring is upon us. So here are some of the onions that I sowed on Boxing Day. This is a variety called Fasto, and they were Fasto by name and Fasto by nature. They germinated within 5 days, and we're now 3/4 of the way through January, and you can see that they're definitely ready to get transplanted on. I grew them in this little quarter seed tray, and I actually did pop them on heat for a little bit until they germinated. Since then they've been under grow lights. So I am now going to transplant them into a cell tray, and I've actually got that prepared now. This has got multi-purpose compost that I had sieved and added some vermiculite to. So that's where the onions are going to go, and I'm actually now going to put them in a grow house, and I'm going to let them grow on in that grow house because they tend not to mind the cold weather actually. So I've got a cover for the cell tray, and I'll put the cover on and I'll pop that into the grow house once I've got these onions transplanted. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my trusty Sharpie, and I'm just going to put some holes. Now this compost is damp. That means that when I put the holes in, they will keep their shape. And then I'm going to pop a single onion into each of these cells. I'm not sure how many onions I've got there, but I think there's 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 8, 20, 4 sevens, 28. So we'll get 28 in here if I have 28 ready to go. I'm just going to carefully tease out. You can see that actually they're probably all going to come out. So I'm just going to, excellent, tease those out, or the whole thing out actually, and now I should be able to just loosen off. Let's see what you can see the roots are formed. They're not particularly tangled, but they're tangled enough that I need to be a bit careful. There we go, I've got that split into another chunk. I'm just breaking it apart a bit until I loosen off an onion. So this is a nice onion. You can see, see the roots there. So I'm just going to pop that in to the cell, just slightly deeper than it was before. I'll top around this with a little bit of vermiculite, and that'll just cover any little stray roots that haven't quite made it into the hole. I'm going to go for the bigger onions first, the healthier looking onions. I think I need to make these holes slightly bigger actually. There we go.
sitting in justice, dead in the eye of time. Nobody is losing. Faces merchant change, but your face remains the same.
Okay, so I'm going to be sowing some flowers and I'm going to be sowing some edibles, and I'll be using various trays and such like to actually get them sown into. The common denominator among it all though is I'm using the same compost, so I'm using a seed sowing compost that I've sieved, and I've added some vermiculite so that it lightens up the compost, lets the air get in, means it helps to stop the compost being waterlogged, etc. So I'm going to sow into that growing medium, and then I'll top off with vermiculite, in most cases anyway, and then these will go into the house and go on to heat. I've got a heat mat and a heated propagator that will get these things started on, and once they've germinated, they will go into an area where I've got grow lights, and they will grow under these grow lights for a while until such a time as I need to do something else with them, and that might be prick them out, it might be bring them out, depending on what the particular seeds are. Okay, I've got a little sort of seed tray that I got, looks like fuchsias in, a year or two ago. It's got holes in it. Yes, it's got holes in it. And I'm going to sow some violas. I've got two varieties of viola. One called Viola Henry and one called Viola Apricot. And I'll hold them forward for you. You can see Henry's the sort of purple one, and Apricot is, not surprisingly, apricot. I've got a few seeds here, so I think I'll probably end up using half the tray for one and half the tray for the other. And I'm just going to lightly sprinkle. This compost, by the way, has been watered, so it's moist. So I'm going to sprinkle the seeds on top of the compost, and then I'm going to pop a little bit of vermiculite on top. I'm going to, first of all though, put in a little marker there so that I know where I've sown the seeds. So, this first one is apricot. Now I got these seeds actually from Gardener's Box, and Gardener's Box is a monthly subscription that you can make. They kindly sent me some subscriptions last year, and each month you get, I think it's 8 packets of seeds and various instructions on how to sow them. So this is Viola Apricot, and I'm just going to dribble the seeds on top of the soil. I think there's one more in there. I'll try and get out. Come on, little seed. You know you want to. There we go. So apricot on that side, Henry in this. It looks like there's probably about 20 seeds here, so they're small seeds, but they still do want to be covered, so I'll put a light layer of vermiculite on, and you can see what that looks like. I'll get some labels, and these will go down to the house and on top of a heat mat. Okay, the next thing I'm going to sow are some cauliflower. This cauliflower is called Skipper, and it tends to not have as huge periphery of leaves. It's quite a compact cauliflower, which is quite good because it means maybe we can slip a few more into a bed rather than the number that we would get with your regular cauliflower that's less compact. Yes, I'm just going to use this entire tray and sow some cauliflower in here, and hopefully we'll get a good number of cauliflower. I'm not great at growing, or I've not had much success with cauliflower. Actually, the best success I had with cauliflower was growing in pots. So we'll see if Skipper is going to be the exception to that rule. Right, I've been preparing some of the other containers. Next thing I'm going to sow is some onions, some more onions. And this is red onion Carmen. And I'm going to pop these in as well. Because quite frankly, I don't think you can ever have too many onions. So this is a quarter tray. Sorry, it's a half tray. I would have used a quarter tray, but I don't have one to hand other than one I'm using in a moment for something else. But anyway, I'm just going to sprinkle these in. I don't mind if there's quite a lot, because I'll have a bed for these, but I will just put them in spaces in other beds if I need some more space. So depending on whether I've got space on the heat mats, I may or may not actually put them on heat, but I will bring them indoors to germinate. Next thing I'm going to sow is my first tomato seeds. Now, I've got a few varieties of tomato that I want to grow this year, but this first one is called Shirley, and actually I thought I would get some Shirley started now and just try and stagger the sowings over January, and February, when the rest of my tomatoes will be sown, just to try and give myself some more space indoors as well. Right. So Shirley is a very popular tomato. I don't want too many. I don't have space for too many. But let's see what we've got seed-wise here. Right. Let's pop in. Just to allow for misfires. There's about 6 or 7 there. If I can have maybe 2 or 3 out of that, I will be happy. There we go. Pop that there. You get the idea. Sow vermiculite, sow vermiculite. And then the final things that I'm going to sow today are a couple of sweet peppers. And the sweet peppers I'm going to sow today, one is called Tangerine Dream and one is called California Wonder. I've got some other sweet peppers that I'm going to sow in February, but again I'm going just staggering the sowings to get some kicked off, germinated and away, and then we'll have another lot following close behind. Excellent. So here I am in the middle growing area in the garden, and I'm next to one of the strawberry beds, and you can see it's a bit untidy, unkempt, so my next job is to tidy this up. I had grown some flowers in here as well as the strawberries, so I'm going to just clear away what I can clear away and trim the strawberries and take any runners out that are surplus to requirements in here, and I'll pot them on somewhere else. Or I'll pot them on, probably put them in the polytunnel and then put them somewhere else when I've got a bed. While we're in this middle part of the garden, let's have a look over here, because a couple of signs of spring. Look at these lovely little snowdrops, and look at this lovely rhubarb. It's going great guns, isn't it? I think probably I need to split this up at split this in two at some point, but for now it's going to just grow as one big plant. But you can see, even although we've had some cold weather a couple of weeks ago, some really freezing temperatures, it's not bothered at all and is sprouting like billy-o. Also in this area is this rather shameful bed. This was here when I moved into the house a couple of years ago, and at that point it was falling to bits. And you can see that the border, the edging, the wooden edging is just breaking away, and I tried to prop it up using some bits of log, but really I need to replace this. And actually my thoughts are, what I might do is just get 2 1 metre square beds, like the beds I've got up the back. I'll show you them just in a second again, but get 2 1 metre beds and just have them side by side here. Or maybe pallet collars, a couple of pallet collars side by side, 2 pallet collars deep. Don't know, I'm still in deep thought about that, but this has got to get tidied up soon. I did have some Brussels sprouts in here, which gave me great harvest. I've got some kohlrabi in here. I've not even got the cover on it, it got blown off and I've not put it back on. And you can see I've got little rinky dinky kohlrabis here. I think these 2 at the front are going, but these 2 are still growing, I don't think. I think they're open to the elements and open to the birds more to the point, so they may well not survive, but I'm not freaking out too much about that, because when I replace these beds soonish, they may well end up getting dug up anyway. But yeah, this is a bit of a horrible part of the garden, but we'll get it sorted out, definitely. Now this little bed here is where I put in my own garlic, Checkmate. And actually, if I just pop you under, you'll be able to see there's actually some bulbs coming up here as well, interspersed with the garlic. I'm not going to freak out about it, we'll just let them do their thing. The garlic all has come up, so I'm hoping it won't be too upset having some nice daffodil neighbours, and maybe even some hyacinth actually. And up in this bed I've got some more garlic coming up. I've got some hard neck and some soft neck. Can I remember what they are? This on the left hand side is the hard neck. It's called Colk White or White, and here is the soft neck, and it is called Provence White, and it's quite happy in this Birdie's metal bed, which is fantastic. Although if you look beyond it, another shameful area. This is something I really want to tackle sooner rather than later, full of ivy as you can see, and some other shrubs. And I think I could, if I can get some of that flattened, maybe get some weed suppressant fabric down, I could get another couple of beds on there. And you know, ivy is good. It's good for insects, it's good for pollinators, but there's just too much. It's just taking over a bit here, so I need to get this tamed. So that will be on the cards in the not too distant future. Oh, here come the girls. In this triangular bed, this is where we usually get a lovely display of daffodils and in particular tulips. And you can see there's some things coming up now. There's also coming up, which I'm not so keen about, is the perennial cornflowers. And I think some of these might be they, and I've been trying to sort of cut back on those because they do take over the place. So we'll see, I'll maybe pull some of those out when it becomes obvious what they are. But you can see there's all sorts of little bulbies coming up in this bed. I put some more tulips in here this year, so although some of the tulips in here are 2 years old, some are 1 year old, and some are just this year's, so I'm hoping we'll get a lovely display in here again. Well, I'm glad to have got those things done in my quest to stay ahead of the game before we get into springtime, when it all gets a little bit crazy. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, and I will talk to you again very, very soon. Bye bye for now.